Oops, I messed up and pushed stop. But I was showing you these sticks where the molten metal formed right around them. And how we've got stick fossils. Anywhere there's not a stick and I blow the piece out, even though there's like little tiny sticks everywhere, right down to the micro. Notice how small that little tiny one is, and that didn't even burn compared to this stick right down the center, which is about the thickness of my finger. Even right down to the micro stick. Unburnt. You can still see some round complete pieces right there. Look how big the piece on the right is compared to the piece on the left, yet this one is still a complete circular piece, a very small stick, not even a piece of a stick, a little tiny stick. That's how big the stick is in the middle. So you can see how little the stick is right here by comparison. I'll get some better still shot videos of this. There's another good comparison, even the small sticks that are a quarter the size of my finger that didn't burn and that got trapped in the molten metal as it poured in and hardened around. The sticks, they singed a little bit, but only as the liquid metal cooled around them, so they could not possibly have been the vector for the heat that melted the metal. Something else melted the metal. The melting metal that got onto the sticks is the only thing that burned the sticks, and that's why we have this going right down the middle, and it beautifully preserved it for us in this artwork. And that's why I say this is the greatest economic opportunity that you have, is these pieces that I'm going to show you right now. These are my latest pieces that I have sprayed. This one that I'm going to sell to the Illuminati because it's got the, you know, the black and the white and the male and the female. Oh, that occurred to me. It's almost like the male branches burn and the females don't, or vice versa. I've already got it down to the understanding that why did this branch that came out of here burn, but this one didn't, but this one did. This one sizzled clear down to here. This was a branch coming out of here. This is another one that I've just covered or just lacquered. Look how fine that line is. On the burn to unburn line. That's how fine the line is for a size reference. So, why did this one burn all the way gone? This one burned only down to there, and this one burned none. This one, you can see up into there on this side, right? And that's right here on the left fork. But you go around back, hardwood. So, male, female branches or something. It's the inner core wood that is wetter and softer. Maybe those are the newer branches. And the outer hardwood is brittler, harder, and drier. And that's why the ones that protrude like that, we'll get some better photos than that. But those are two that I've finished in the last couple of weeks. I'm showing you here, you can get these, you can pick these up real easy. I'm going to show you how to debark them. The bark falls right off because of a process that I've told you. This one's bad to the bone. the bark falls right off because of a process called phototropism, where the cells on the plant inflate and deflate with water. And that's how when a little plant springs up, it can lean towards the sun and follow the sun over through the day, throughout the day, lean this way in the morning and that way in the evening, or open and close its petals if it's a flower. And the electromagnetic frequencies of the microwaves that are going through these trees, when it happens, causes them to literally shake their bark right off. So the bark falls right off. You got to scrub them with a water and a scrubby, and I'll show you the airbrush technique. And this is your greatest economic opportunity that you have. No matter what the economy is, the next economy could be based on plasma wood. Okay? Where all dollars, no matter how many we put into existence, all the plasma wood in all existence in the bank, we all put it into a bank. I can literally see these pieces being rented to museums who ship them around and put them on display. And I retain ownership and they pay just to see them. Like Joni Mitchell said in her song. Take all the trees, put them in a tree museum. Charge the people $1.50 just to see them. So the next economy could be based on all the plasma wood in the world. I'm going to show you these spirals, how they spiral around, and how you could go get these too. Even the little ones are easy for you to get. All the money in the world, Bitcoin, even if we do Bitcoin, all the plasma wood goes into a plasma wood bank. And all the money in the world, divided by however much wood is in that plasma wood bank, is how much each one of those pieces of plasma wood is worth. Because those people who preserved the plasma wood and got while the getting was good, because it does rot in the forest if you don't get it before it rots. And during a time when there was no price for truth, and truth was not valued, they invested in truth. And ever after, our currency is based on that truth that they preserved at a time when there was no value placed in truth. Which gives us the incentive and gives us a currency based on truth. And those who invested in it, when the rest of the people did not. And incentivizes those people in the future who use that currency to invest in truth, because it's not based on gold. It's not based on silver. It's based on truth and those who invest in it. And we find other ways to tie our currency to truth and reward those who invest in truth to avoid such a catastrophe again as to ever getting into a time when truth is no longer valued. This is science, art, and history all in one. Science of how this happens is embedded right within what I think is a beautiful art. And this is the history of what happened here encapsulated. I'll get better video of these when I've got better lighting. Because as soon as I go around to the front, the lighting kicks out and you can't see crap. But they're cool, trust me, they're cool. So I got these two big ones. And this one. So I got this one, and this one painted in the last 3 weeks, along with this squiggly stick over here I'm going to show you when I get some better lighting. but I want to get on to something else now here in just a second. But the squiggly part adds to the art and the science. This one's unlacquered. I'm sorry, this one's unlacquered. This one's lacquered. Soon as the sun goes down and I don't have the light coming through the curtain, which will be here in about a half hour, then I'll give you a better show of the goods. That's unlacquered but ready. I just need to dust it off. This one's unlacquered. And you can see how it's burnt on the underside, starting right here, curves up and around. So it starts out burnt on the underside. Let me switch hands here. Burnt on the underside, curves up and around to right there. It's done a 180. By here, it's back to the underside. Around there, burnt on the underside. By here, it's done a full 360, and then it continues going up this side. It's now done another 180. To here, it's now done another 180. 2 full 360s from here, down and around to the underside, down and around to the underside. And you can find these with a handsaw. This one does a full 180. The burn, the 2 support bars are vertical here on the top, and they turn around to the bottom. They do almost a full 180, because by the bottom, the burn is on this side. And you can find a lot of them that do this. And I was even measuring whether it's the right hand rule or the left hand rule like plasma, because they all seem to twist the same direction. But then I found some that twist the other direction. But you can go get twisty sticks like this. And you'll be a rich man. So we'll go over some more of those later. And I'll showcase my wares. This one does a full 180. From the bottom, it's burnt on this side, goes over, does a full 180. Over here, actually, by this part right here, it does, yeah, full 180. There it does a 90. So it starts here and twists this way. And the burn is, I'll have to think it again. But I'm going to move on to something else now. So these 3 are lacquered. These are unlacquered. These are unlacquered and ready to roll. And I have a whole kitchen full too, and I'll go over more of that later. I'm just gloating about my goods. I love this one right here. This one, hollowed out there, solid on both ends. That's what I mean by this is kind of a big deal. Solid here and here somehow went and hollowed out the whole middle. That's the science that can be discovered. You gotta find these when they're at just the sweet spot of burning. A little bit less and it would be not burned enough to be that cool. A little bit more and it'd be toast. But there's a sweet spot, and the inside of this is so bad. All I do is tape that down, tape down this door, open this door where I got my swamp cooler, crank it up, open the window. You've got a spray booth or in front of the door. Though I do get a little bit of overspray, so I need to blow this piece off before I lacquer it. Wear a mask. You can do this at your house. A whole lot of can do, and now you got the know-how. Because someone commented in my live plasma fire video, someone ought to get this to Dutch Chisney or Dutch Sense. And I thought, well, who's it up to? Who are you suggesting should take it upon themselves to get this video over to Dutch Sense? It's up to you and me. As you can see, I am in possession of some high-level evidence that some sort of bureau, some sort of federal bureau should be in charge of this kind of stuff, right? Who, like, you know, takes charge and investigates stuff like this. I even told those firemen what I think, and they said this is a crime scene, under investigation, restricted area, you're not supposed to be here. And I educated them as to what I know and gave them access to my channel. That's why I say maybe I should actually be training the local fire department and giving them a heads up as to what this is so they can start to understand it better and develop techniques that we could actually defend against this, because this is unlike anything that they've been trained for. But I'm sure my videos do not go unnoticed by the right departments. That's what I mean. This is a big deal. Do I need to refer to the molten metal on the little tiny sticks out front again? Anyway, we'll get back to this. Because I got a whole lot of bragging to do to the new people and show them some of the beauty of some of this stuff. Because someone else commented in the comments section that it's a wasteland in my last plasma fire video with it's the vehicle, vaporized vehicle. See how the burn line follows the grain here as it curves around that corner? And that's what you'll notice on all of these. That's how you know the heat is coursing through the inside. And it stains it from the inside to where you can see the actual grain of the wood. And someone in the comments section said, because I said it's all lush and green around where that vaporized vehicle was. And I was just making the point that it's totally unburned. And she or he, whoever it was like, it's not lush and green. It's a wasteland. We're all gonna die. And that's a major thing right now. It's a choice right now. And that inner feeling world is going to manifest in your external world in a major way. And that's what's going to separate us into two different groups who experience two entirely different worlds. Look for the good. Jason Mraz. Link is in the description. And that's what it's all about right now. This piece is dope. You guys wait till I show it to you. It's hard to tell the pieces one from another when they're all together like that. That's why I tried to wiggle it a little so you could see which piece it was. But it's got so many examples of where like right here on this ball right here, where the heat follows the grain of the wood, curves around the wood. As the wood curves, the burn line curves, like right there. Great example. That's the science that this is. You and I are the experts. Why am I the one who's in possession of this, showing and telling you this? Because it's up to you and me. Someone ought to get this to Dutch sense. It's up to us. It really is. There is no they. It's you and me. And the light just ain't quite doing it. And I gotta show you what I'm talking about now. So let me get this propped up on my knee. Look how the grain curves and the burn line curves along with the grain as it grows. Just like when one of these pieces of wood grows in a spiral, so the wood burns in a spiral. And look at that unburned spot between here and that squiggly burn line that goes up here, and it burns hotter on the knot than on the other wood. And it's got these unburned lines between the two major burned areas. If I could hold the camera at the right angle. Anyway, you can see how, if you could, if it would, you can see the grain, how the grain squiggles and it's all like dyed, like stained, like glazed from the inside. The colors are awesome when you get it at the right angle. So it is a beautiful art. It really is. So for me to think that museums might rent these from me is not far off. If we make it through this, these will be worth big money no matter what money is on the other side of this economic reset. Because all economic growth is wealth. All wealth is knowledge, and all economic growth is learning. And these lead to this economic boom of learning. I'm not saying it's the greatest discovery in scientific history, but it's in the league of, it's in the range of. Come on, show the people. There we go. There we go. And you can be part of this. These are the two boards from part 1 of this video that I showed you the underside of from the top side. And what you can see is that they're burned 100% all the way through the board. They look just like they did from the bottom side when looking at the top side. Burned 100% all the way through the board. From one end to the other of the burn. The burn is the even width the whole way. 2 fingers to 3 fingers. And what I'm going to show you about these boards is that they fit together. The line on them fits perfectly here where there's a bulge of one knot coming out this way. There's an indentation on this board. The curvature of that indentation curvature there, matches this hump right there of the knot that's in the board. And these fit together perfectly. And all I'm showing you is that this was originally one board. I need to glue it back together, clamp it and glue it. So I don't want to rough the edges up and put them together too much until I've got them actually ready to clamp and glue together. Right there is a perfect example. You can see the indentation on this side and the bulge on that side that go together like hand and glove. So my point is made that it's like a laser that burned its way through here. 100% in the width of where it burned, down to 0 heat signature on either side, within the width of a millimeter on either side. If it was fire or anything like that, besides lightning, there would be a gradual area where the heat got less and less and less and less until it's totally unburned. In this case, it goes from totally burned to totally unburned in the space of a millimeter. And that's the case with the entire. I'll go from side to side so you can kind of see the edges with the entire length of the laser strike. We'll just call them laser strikes or lightning strikes. These boards go together perfectly as well. Oops. Just showing you that it's burned all the way through there on both sides. This is exactly as it looks from the bottom side. So it's 100% through the board, all the way through the board, same exact uniform burn signature all the way up and down. This is an example of what I said when most of them seem to actually hit on the seam where 2 boards butt together. This is a manufacturer's edge, where 2 of the boards that they build the bridge with come together. Just so you don't gotta take my word on it. These other 2, this is a rough edge that matches this rough edge, and it just split because of the burn that's missing out of the middle. When they removed the boards, it split. But they were kind enough to leave this one, this matching set, and this matching set, along with another small, but nonetheless significant, micro laser. So when my brother-in-law saw a flashing star, might they have been doing target practice because they hit one bridge 18 times? I got to admit, I'm pretty impressed. This paint right here is fluorescent spray paint that they put on here when they were marking the boards for the city to remove them, because they only removed and replaced the boards that got hit by the laser strikes. I took another video when I went back. I'll have to look for that one if I find it, but there'll be plenty links in the description for you to watch where I show you everything else that was around these laser strike boards on the bridge as I go in and investigate my very first plasma fire zone. But it was my second time or even third time going there. I went back there after they deleted my YouTube page to take another video of that area because I knew what it contained. And they'd already removed the boards. No, the first time, link in the description, these boards are still attached to the bridge. And I'm going back there for my second or third time. It was my first time after they deleted my page that I went back there and these are still attached. And I'm sure there's another video where I go back there and show that these have been replaced. These were sitting off to the side, and no, I ain't lying. People have asked, how did you get in possession of those if those were on Spanish Fort City Park Bridge? And they were sitting off to the side, as if maybe someone left them there just for me, since I happen to be the only one who seems to notice or care about this. And that's why I implore you, do your part. It'll be good. It's getting really enjoyable. I'm sure glad I did my part. Now that we're seeing stuff like this and everything we saw yesterday in the sky, that's what I said when I was on my way out to Missouri, is I'm sure glad I put in the work. Yes, sirree. So you notice how, here I'm gonna show you a good one, but I'm gonna say, you notice how it wraps all the way around this stick and all the way around that? There's another one that's even better. Here we go. You see how much of that stick it wrapped around? This tells us that the vehicle did not burn and melt the aluminum because of the wood around it that was burning, but it was the reverse. The wood burned because of the metal and the molten liquid metal that was dripping around it. That's the only way the metal could form. And notice how small the branches are that didn't even burn. Compared to this one, which is the same size as my finger. This is proof that the vehicle and the metal reached thousands of degrees while the wood beside it remained cool and unaffected until the molten metal hit it. These are also pieces that I pulled from that same vaporized vehicle. Notice how much more burnt it is here than right there next to it, and how much higher heat this part reached than right next to it. That's how this works. See the little stick embedded? Better lighting would be better, but you can get the point. I showed you plenty of those. All I'm saying is this has one right there in the middle. So this was a super score, not just your standard plasma wood. Rocks embedded in it. I'm lacquering these puppies. This one's got wood embedded. The other one's priceless. Look how much molten metal is in the right side of the screen and the untouched metal on the other side. I'll flip it over for you. I still have to clean this one off. I haven't even touched this one. It may have some interesting stuff to reveal as well. Like in here, is that the grass? Did it drip down on the grass? In there. This is definitely mental boost material for sure. For sure, Mr. Boost. We're calling on you. We need a hero. Holding on for a hero. Mr. Boost, we're calling you. Cause you're Mr. Mental Boost and you need a metallurgist for me. Cause we know you're all down with the truth. Mental Boost, we need a hero. See the stick in there? Yes, my camera skills suck. So let's go. This is where those boards were connected to the bridge. Link is in the description for this video. Spanish Fork River Park Bridge that I've spoken of with the 18 laser strikes. One, and you'll notice there's a metal beam here. That straight edge is a metal beam. This one has a diagonal metal beam, but most of them start on one metal beam and go one way or the other. They're all the same width. That is the beam that I showed you on the back side of the boards in part 1 of this video series. And it doesn't go from hot to medium to cold. You don't see any burn here. It goes from absolute burn to 0 in the same 1.5 inch width, like a laser strike. Absolute burn to 0 in the same 1.5 inch width, like a laser strike. Let's just call it what it is. That's a laser strike, and there's 18 more. Here, 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 all placing the shot of these directed energy weapons. So I'll just go through and show you. They all seem to come off of one of these metal beams, like what's right there, and I'll show you from the bottom side too. We'll get under here and show you. So there's 2. Again, that one comes off of this beam, but it's got a diagonal going underneath. This one comes off of that beam. That might be one right I have, here, where it's got a small piece on it. It goes this way a little bit. Here's 3 more. This one, I don't know if you can see the beam, and maybe this one's like one of the exceptions. And maybe this one too. Most of them. You notice they're on the split. Of a beam, but all of them have some similarity. They're all this wide. Notice all of them that are right on a seam where 2 boards come together. And 0 burn on either side. That's a laser strike. And to hit this one bridge 18 times was target practice. When they charge up the directed energy weapons like the Athena by Lockheed Martin, by the ionized atmosphere, check out Ilana Freeland, Under an Ionized Sky. The ambient plasma burns the poles and everything else I've been showing you, but this is the directed energy weapon shots. Okay? That's what these are. Go on, come back and show you some more. This one again, here's the beam right here that it comes off of. So most of them start at one of these beams where you see these 2